So Stanford has wrecked themselves and caused quite a bit of controversy by deciding to circle the wagons when it comes to one of those primary members of Team AH. This would be one Michelle Dauber, and refusing to open a Title IX and an ethics investigation into them for their extreme anti-male bias. Now, Stanford has publicly endorsed AH and Team AH in the past, particularly Michelle Dauber, but this time it looked different because Michelle Dauber, she seemed to be panicking. And when you look at this complaint against her, yeah, you can tell why exactly she would go out and she would decide to scrub her social media, because not only did she openly go after and defame JD and his lawyers. I mean, that's bad enough. But when she's involved in this stuff, she decides that she's going to go after students of the university, male and female students. Yeah, that's a big problem considering other things that are going on at the university right now. And backing her, oh, what a mistake. See, right now, there is an Office of Civil Rights probe into complaints about Stanford because of their discrimination against men. This isn't something in-house either. They can't just brush this thing away. Plus, it's getting more and more headlines, and when they decided to ignore the stuff about Michelle Dauber, yeah, that just gives this more and more legitimacy. You and I, we're going to talk about it today, too. Oh, man, crazy fun times, huh? Crazy fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. Man, when I saw this headline about Michelle Dauber, I couldn't believe that Stanford, they would wreck themselves like this. See, Dauber ended up trending online. It ended up with quite a bit of notoriety, including articles written about her because she was hardcore Team AH member. This is somebody, by the way, with connections to AH themselves. So it's not just some random person out there making comments. And she took it far enough not only to just go after, say, JD or lawyers and make some crazy statements, but she went after students too. I mean, look at this here. So Evan says, "Oh my God, I have to know. Please respond. Who are you? Were you supporting in regards to your hashtag January 6th committee hashtag? Is it that orange man in AH for you?" So she responds with this: "You know, SV politics is a small world. I think you should probably rethink trolling me. That is my advice since you are a student." So she knows this person is a student. She's making a threat. She's going to falsely accuse them of something. And if you find yourself saying, "That umbrella guy, maybe it wasn't meant that way. Maybe it's not actually a threat." Yeah, I might think that too, were it not for Michelle Dauber actually clarifying this to the person. Again, professor to student. Listen to how this ends. "Cruel words seem to come as naturally to you as belittling students. So okay, if it's a threat, I'll take it seriously and won't tweet on what you post." She responds to this. She says, "That's a good choice for you. Goodbye forever." So she's telling them, again, I'm going to falsely accuse you of something if you don't do what I want, if you disagree with me in any way. Yeah, this got Stanford into quite a bit of hot water, but guess what? They put out a statement endorsing her, endorsing AH. That tells you plenty about the mindset behind the scenes. Now, Dauber would do this while talking about her job. So she would talk about Stanford, she would utilize it as a bludgeon, and this Title IX complaint captured a lot of what she did when it surrounded JD. I mean, listen to this. I thought this was very good, spelling out what she was doing. Michelle Dauber has engaged in unlawful and hyper-partisan advocacy against JD, a male survivor of DV and a victor in a jury trial. For example, she gathered signatures for a quote-unquote open letter attacking JD, This despite an overwhelming public support in favor of him. For example, a petition to penalize AH for her misconduct has garnered 4.6 million signatures. Interestingly, Dahmer was opposed to transparency of court proceedings during JD versus AH, perhaps all too aware that AH's allegations could not survive rational scrutiny. Dahmer used her social media presence to instigate unlawful attacks against JD, displaying profound disrespect for due process of law. For example, she called Jay a bleeping wife bleeper. So I'm just going to leave that there. Yeah, love the censors, don't you? She made lurid threats against JD, fantasizing about his, let's just say, Minecraft, and having his body devoured by rats. She also went after Camille Vasquez, too, JD's lawyers. She would call her things like a pick-me girl, which, that's ugly misogyny. They note how that harassment, defamation, they were significant enough, too, to cause an outcry amongst the American public. For example, there were multiple articles that were written about this, condemning what exactly she did, and that's just the beginning of a laundry list of sordid details that involve things like co-authoring the Dear Colleague letter in 2011. That letter, it urged academic institutions to adopt policies that essentially they go after men. They skew it as both male victims and accused males. So you can see the bias come through, and there are 10 pages of examples where she's done this over and over again, leading to some horrible things, including accusations of people, let's just say, Minecrafting themselves. Now, at first, Stanford responded, saying, yes, of course, we're going to take all of this serious. You can see right there, thank you for your correspondence, letting us know about your concern regarding Professor Dahmer's conduct and messages. We take these allegations seriously and want to ensure that we're taking appropriate steps to respond to your message. And what that seems to have meant is that they were going to sit on their hands for 4 weeks, and then afterwards they're going to tell you exactly what you knew they'd do, because again, they've backed AH and they backed Team AH, specifically Michelle Dahmer, before. Yeah, they say, we reviewed and considered your complaint. We're not going to be initiating an investigation. Of course you're not. And Stanford, they really wrecked themselves in this. Why? Well, a person like myself, I've seen this personally. I've seen what she does. It reflects on Stanford. The media, they covered it too. That's damaging enough. But if the right person sees this, if the right person would say the Office of Civil Rights while they're probing into it, yeah, that could lead to something inconvenient. And like I said, Michelle Dahmer knew that this was a problem. She ghosted her social media. She deleted everything because she could tell that this, she knew there could be consequences to what she was doing. But anyway, let me know what you think about it. It's going to be fascinating to see if this goes anywhere. If not, again, damage done just talking about it. So share this thing everywhere. But let me know what you think. And as always, appreciate you. You want to help out the channel? Links are in the description. But yeah, I'm going to end here. I want to thank you too for being here. We will see you soon.